Ignatius Igo Mpambani, born in 1980, a young businessman with interest in telecommunications and engineering. Mpambani was also a beloved figure in the Free State, known for bringing life to the festive seasons in Welkom. Despite his wealth, people close to him described him as an approachable person, but behind the scenes, his fortune came from the state's contracts. With a close connection to former Free State Premier and ANC Secretary General Ace Magashule, the process that he would have went through were made much easier for him. Mpambani was also known as the bagman politically and in his business circles, and the reason behind this name was because he moved money wherever it needed to go with instructions from the big guy. According to businessman Edwin Sodi, he first met Mpambani around 2010 at one of his high-class events. Around 2014, Mpambani approached Sodi with a bold proposition. During the asbestos removal projects in Gauteng in which Sodi was involved in, Igo claimed that he could unlock similar opportunities in the Free State as long as he joined business ventures with Sodi, and it was possible due to his connections. Igo had powerful connections inside the Free State Department of Human Settlement with Ace Magashule, and with Ace on his side, things were much easier for him as Ace had a huge influence across the Free State. Without following any proper tender process, the department awarded an asbestos contract worth 255 million rands to the joint venture between Edwin Sodi and Igo Mpambani. But according to allegations, the money was never meant to remove any asbestos. Instead, it was to be split between Magashule, Sodi, Mpambani, and their comrades to fund their lifestyle of luxury. Now, the state is trying to prove that Ace Magashule is the mastermind controlling the flow of money. Bear in mind, there was no bidding, no competition for this tender. The deal was simply handed to these guys. The 255 million was paid in 10 separate transactions to the joint venture owned by Sodi and Mpambani. Each payment was another step closer to what prosecutors claim to be a carefully orchestrated scheme. The first payment segment was 25 million rands. From that, Ace Magashule's secretary Cholota sent Mpambani the banking details of a traveling agency and instructions that Igo deposited 250,000 rands to cover flights for 19 ANC comrades heading to Cuba for a political cause. Then came the 55,000 rands for school fees for former judge Refilwe Mokwena's daughter who was studying in the USA, and this very same judge was suspended for dealing with the Guptas. Then followed 650,000 rands that was deposited to a dealership for a Maserati belonging to a senior department official. Another 600,000 rands was paid to Tim Mkesi, the former head of Human Settlement Department in the Free State, for a property investment. Then followed 2 million rands, which was spent on a brand new Mercedes-Benz. These were some of the smallest expenses that the group had. The big money was moved through subcontracting. From the start, these guys never intended to do any work. Instead, they subcontracted the job to channel the funds. According to Sodi, the first subcontractor was Mpambani's friend Sidney Khatebe, whose company Master Trader 232 had been struggling to secure contracts. Master Trader received around 44 million rands, but they also contracted the job to Ori Group, which was supposed to get 21 million rands but only received 6 million rands, leading them to take legal actions. They were suing but did not do any work as well. The last payment, being 77.5 million rands, was deposited straight into the joint venture account. Then Mpambani moved it into his own account. The amount was supposed to be split between him and Sodi as partners, but according to Sodi, Mpambani became greedy and didn't split the cash. In June 2017, Mpambani was cruising in his Bentley. As he stopped for the traffic lights, two men from another car stepped out approaching Mpambani, but as he noticed, he accelerated the car, leading him to crash to another car in front of him. The shooters then opened fire and sprayed his car with bullets. When the police and paramedics arrived, it was already too late, but what they found inside the car shocked them. On the passenger seat was a plastic bag stuffed with 100 Rand notes, which was up to 500,000 rands. In the boot, another 500,000 rands was found. After Mpambani's death, investigators uncovered a spreadsheet with a list of initials belonging to department officials who were paid for their role in awarding the 255 million rands asbestos tender to Sodi and Mpambani. One entry showed AM, which many believe stood for Ace Magashule, receiving 10 million rands. Another was TM, thought to be Tim Mkesi. The spreadsheet was found on Sodi's computer, which Sodi claimed to know nothing about, insisting that it was created by Mpambani and was handled by his office. Now with Mpambani no longer on the scene, Sodi has been pinning all the criminal activities on Mpambani. According to Sodi, Mpambani was the mastermind behind the whole operation. The money trail said it all. Once the tender funds were paid to the joint venture account, Mpambani will then transfer the money to his company 605 Consulting Solutions. From there, it was shared to his relevant partners. Mpambani was the hub of the entire money flow. Magashule's secretary, on the other hand, will send him instructions on who to pay, how much, and when. 6 months later, after Mpambani's death, ANC held its national elective conference between Jacob Zuma and Cyril Ramaphosa, which Cyril Ramaphosa's side won. The only Zuma ally to survive the purge was Ace Magashule, who claimed the position of ANC's Secretary General. Ramaphosa's camp was not happy about that, and the first move to remove him from his seat came quickly. They challenged the Free State's vote result, the same province where Ace had secured most of his support. But Ramaphosa's faction claimed that the numbers were boosted by ghost delegates to turn the outcome to Ace Magashule's favor. But without proof, Ace kept his place in the ANC's top 6. Then came the second strike, the step-aside rule. Under this policy, any ANC member charged with corruption was required to vacate their position until their case was resolved in court. And this was the strategy used by Ramaphosa's camp to force out Ace Magashule from his position of power. Mpambani's death might be the reason Magashule walks free. Right now, the only direct link to him is his secretary Cholota. But the real money man who connected everyone is gone. Same applies to Sodi. Without Mpambani, the trail leading to all the corrupt officials and shady business people has gone cold, which looks like Mpambani was the man handling the large sums of money and keeping his associates' hands clean. And it's easier now to put all the blame on him since he was silenced. After Mpambani's death, his consultation company was taken over by his wife. Almost immediately, SARS and the Hawks came knocking from the millions in irregular payments that had flowed through his company. It was now owing SARS 20 million rands. Everyone else who had recently received their slice had disappeared, leaving Mpambani's estates to face the tax bill. But his company did not shut down. After his wife took over, the Department of Human Settlement awarded the company another contract worth 2 million rands. Then soon after, they paid 500,000 rands to another company that belonged to two sisters who happened to be business partners with Ace Magashule's son, Tato. Mpambani's death is a crucial piece to Ace Magashule's case, yet somehow it was pushed under the rug. Even the media barely followed it. A high-profile figure laid down in the heart of Sandton, a place filled with cameras. Yet, 8 years after, the police have not yet solved the case. It is very clear that high-profile hits like these ones are pushed aside because the people behind it are very much more powerful and are part of the government. So what really happened? Was Sodi furious over the 77.5 million rands, or was Ace Magashule tying up loose ends before the ANC laid actions? The mystery remains unsolved. My name is Jay, and this is Moment in Future, pulling you into the truth.